this is Max from Mini Search Pro. I have my social links down below. If you'd like to do it, give it a like, that'll be awesome. Subscribe, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and of course if you want to, my Instagram as well, that'll be really awesome. Besides that, let's get started, shall we? So what is Wi-Fi? It's a technology that allows electronic devices to connect to a wireless LAN, so WLAN, wireless LAN network, using 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. So pretty much your smartphone, laptop, computer with a Wi-Fi dongle attachment to it can, when using them and using Wi-Fi, can communicate with your router, access points, and you can transmit data like that. It's pretty much the same technology that a microwave uses with radio waves. No, you can't exactly get your phone and a router and try to cook food with it. That radio wave won't work. It's invisible to the human eye. It can travel very fast speeds, over 600 million miles an hour. Accordingly, I'll have the information there. So pretty much you're looking 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz as mentioned previously. 2.4 gigahertz is 12 centimeters wavelength, so one wavelength is 12 centimeters, UHF, ultra high frequency, and then we have 5 gigahertz, which is a lot faster. AC, as you all would have known, is half wavelength of 2.4 gigahertz, which is 6 centimeters. So it's 5 gigahertz, 6 centimeters like that of wavelength, and it's SHF, which means super high frequency, and it's based on a 802.11 IEEE system. So IEEE 802.11. Now 2.4 gigahertz, unfortunately, it does have interruptions from the microwave. So if you're in a gaming event and you really want to, just annoy a lot of people at a gaming convention, best thing to do is if they're all using wireless, bring about 5, 10, 15 microwaves and just use them all at once, and you will either probably end up with a death warrant, or you'll probably end up getting killed within about 2 seconds because you pissed off a lot of nerds, pretty much. So yeah, just don't do that. Please don't do that. Enough with the jokes aside. So with wireless, you have different channels. Different channels operate in different countries. So in Australia, I have a list of channels around here. Just make sure you buy a Wi-Fi compliant hardware that pretty much supports your country's region and channels. That'll be epic. Besides that, I will get more into the different Wi-Fi technologies such as B, GNN, etc. So we already know we have 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, but what's the differences? So 2.4 gigahertz, you have B, GNN. B is a maximum of 11 megabits, half duplex, so 5.5 up, 5.5 down. So it's not the very best. It was introduced in early 2000, and it's not the fastest. It was good, better than nothing. Then we have G's, like 54 megabits, still half duplex, appeared in 2003. It's OFDM based transmission schemes, similar to 802.11a. A wasn't really widely used, I believe, within households and businesses. I might be incorrect about that, I do apologize. But it was there as a first commitment in such a way of, doing transmissions and arrays. So it's most likely B and G. Now, they did make a super G, Authorize, so well done to Authorize for giving it a shot, of 180 megabits. So, they managed to do that, so that's pretty cool. Now, you probably wonder, well, what's sort of special about Super G? It did 108, it was double the speed of G, excuse me. And what that allowed them to do was just get faster data rates going in and out. I believe they used it like a dual antenna setup or something like that. I think it is. I'll have the information there. And then now we move on to N. So N was like, yeah, we had Super G was good, we had G was good, but we need to go even faster. World's progressing further. We need to be able to transmit faster data. So they ended up going with a bit of a MIMO shot, so multiple input, multiple output antenna. So that's what they do with the MIMO. And they said we're going to have a section of 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. So they implemented 5 gigahertz as an optional thing, so which routers have it. Speeds transmission was about 54 to 600 megabits, depends. Pitted in 2007, and then probably 2009 they sort of made it into a standard. So that's pretty much 2.4. Only problem with 2.4, even if you have MIMO running, you're still going to get interference from the microwaves. Again, if you're going to a gaming convention, want to piss off a bunch of people, go ahead and run a few microwaves, it'll do the job. Besides that, 5 gigahertz band, you got AC. So pretty much it appeared around about December 2013. It was running like the same system as 802.11n. So it's not that bad. The only differences was, instead of being a 40 megahertz, it was running 80 megahertz or 160 megahertz, 5 gigs band. So it's not that bad, it's pretty good. And with multi-user MIMO, so we had even more MIMO this time, just much more. It was up to 256 QAM instead of the 64 QAM. And additional to the multi-user MIMO I was talking about, it can reach up to 130 megabits or 1,300 megabits or 1.3 gigabits. It was actually pretty good in 5 gigahertz, in 80 megahertz. Now they did a wave 2 with 5 gigahertz AC, and that appears in 2014, 2015, running about 160 megahertz. So they're trying to beef it up a little bit more there. Now the advantages of 5 gigahertz is a lot much faster than 2.4 gigahertz. However, you do get a packet transmission loss with 5 gigahertz, which unfortunately is a true statement. Now, moving on to security. So now with security, you have WEP, WPA, WPA2, WPS, and radius server. So you got 4. Let's talk about WEP, shall we first? WEP is pretty much wired equivalent privacy. So pretty much they said when we have this wireless, we want to implement something that can keep users secure and home users secure and businesses secure as well. That's what we want to do. So then put WEP into it. It wasn't bad. It was pretty good. It has 64-bit, 128-bit, and 256-bit encryption. However, the biggest problem was that they found out in around about 2003 when it was replaced that you can easily brute force WEP in just a few minutes and guess what? Get the white flag out and just go I surrender. That was pretty much the best thing they could have done there. Now, why am I saying that? Because you once again, someone's network and you can do what the hell you want to do with it, pretty much. So in 2003, they said, you know what, we're going to go with WPA. So WPA is Wi-Fi protected access, and they're going to be using a TKIP. I'll have the information there. Pretty much this new technology, WPA, with the TKIP, was pretty much saying, you know what, it's going to be much better if we run this new system. TKIP was pretty much more secure. However, it did have this limitation with a bit of a weakness in encryptions, but it was better. Now, WPA2 was superseded by WPA2, which was running AES, which is pretty much Advanced Encryption Standard, AES. If I got the incorrect, I apologize for that. And it's much more secure. It's much better like that. So home users could run WPA2 PSK. I did a hacking video, which you can probably just if you just click around here somewhere, and it shows me cracking WPA2. But please keep in mind, it does take anywhere between seconds, hours, months, days, weeks, years, millenniums, centuries, reincarnation of 500 years later, and whatever. It can take so much time to crack it, unfortunately. Now WPS. Moving on to that one, was pretty much to keep it simple for home users, so much easier and better. Allow them to press a bit of a button, have a pin. They could easily verify the pin and connect. Problem with that is that if you're good with cracking routers and etc. like that, or just want to crack someone's network for fun of it, really, don't do that. You'll end up in jail. Pretty much all you have to do is get the correct pin, and then it'll just spit out to you the WPA2 password. It will spit it out for you. Now, the most secure method I find is radius server, which is the last point, radius server. You need a server for it. You need to install it. It's pretty much a radius. I'll have the acronym just over here. Pretty much like, what is the beauty about radius? You can just pretty much dial in into a server, like authentication. Pretty much, that's pretty much what it is. Just like a little authentication server. So you can create the credentials on the server, then you can give it to the client. If they both match with special digital keys, you're in, you have no problem. But if someone tries to forge it, which if you can forge radius server and forge the certificates, just don't even bother watching this video. Go to the Pentagon in the US and crack the crap out of their servers, or the DoD or whatever. Just crack them, because honestly, you're pretty good, of course, already. And pretty much that just radius server just makes it encryption even more. It doesn't slow anything really down. It's just for connection purposes, and that's like the most secure system. So if you're a home user, I would definitely suggest using WPA2. Disable WPS, get rid of it. It's pointless to have it in such a way because it's very runnable. If you've got no encryption to use on your router, it's very old, or you have a problem with it, and WEP is the only thing you've got left, use WEP. You pretty much sign in your death. You're pretty much signing your death of your network, and well, you can't do much about that, can you? But it's better than nothing. If I missed out anything, I do apologize for that. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you find it useful, and more cool stuff is coming soon. Thanks.